What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 12 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we continue fighting in Sylvania, Elspeth von Draken taking down Vlad von Karstein yet again, and I expect we'll see him one more time as he revives in one turn, so he'll be back to defend Castle Drakenhof, the last holdout of the vampire counts of Sylvania, this next turn. Otherwise, Gelt has fought another battle against the orcs in the south, and by the looks of it, in one more turn, when he's got his last two rocket batteries up and running, we should be able to get him doing his quest for the Staff of Volans. We're one turn away from the Confederation of Middenland, which is the thing that we're going to confederate next. Yes, I know, Volkmar would be nice, but he's all the way down here, and we don't really care about that. He has no chance of dying quickly with 10 settlements to his name, so let him build those places up and level and whatnot. I'd really want to activate the additional Elector count state troops, which Volkmar doesn't bring any of at the current time. Plus, it's not like we get access to his little shop. It used to be an Empire faction in it, or I think it used to be for all Empire, or maybe it used to be for Karl in SFO before. You used to be able to use prestige to buy these items that would enable you to summon units on top of these ancillaries that would enable you to summon units on top of the battlefield, as well as some other ancillaries which did some other stuff which probably weren't as important. I'm pretty sure that's been moved to I just Shop Smart, Shop Sigmart is what I thought of as it's been moved to the cult of Sigmar, and now that completely derailed my train of thought. So let's just get started, shall we? What were we doing? What do we have left? Oh right, the fested thing. This guy, the clan Ferric that have moved down here while Elspeth remains Sigmart busy with Sylvania, and I think what we can try to do about this. Okay, wait. Does anybody even need to move? A moment. Baldric, you're waiting. Recruiter Beckberg, you... Well, actually. We don't have money, though. Alrighty, and then the recruiters... Okay, so why didn't I end the turn? I must have wanted to do something about this guy down here. Alright, you know what we'll do? We'll do this. Electoral machinations. Send aid to ourselves. Perform. Like so, we got a couple mortars, some knights, some not so bad stuff, and then Kurt Zek, we can replace you with a lord that can actually fight, since you're really a recruiter. I don't particularly like Beast Slayer either. Alright, so we'll replace you. I guess we should reset you rather than replace you, but anyway, we can use, let us say... didn't we have... Yeah, we had a couple of these guys. Fearless. Unbreakable. Leadership on attacking as well. Oral leadership. Yeah. For a random summon, and not too bad. Plus, they'll enable us to go Grand Hammer of Sigmar, Shield of Faith, and hold the line. And we'll also do Inspiring Presence, and we'll go for a Pistol Core. And you know what we could do to guarantee this? I mean, this is all basic unbuffed troops, so to guarantee this, what we can do is, again... How do we go to 0? Huh? No, seriously, how do we go to 0? Okay, well, I guess I don't really care. We had 1,000, right? Did I use any money on anything? Does resetting a lord and summoning a new one take all your money? Oh well. What was I going to do? Alright, let's do this. We can go to maybe Sylvania, cancel these things, and then that should give us just enough money to again summon the Deathjacks and the White Wolves, because until we get the Hunts Marshal, we might as well use these guys here. You, I guess, are going to reinforce, and then Richter, you will... Oh, you know what I should have done? Yeah, we won't have enough. I should have not spent the 1 point and hold the line and gone into Sharpshooter, which would have buffed up these... Well, actually buffed up the entire army. Well, that's my bad, but what can you do? Too late. Although, funnily enough, we could replace him with the other Fearless guy and do it, but I don't think I care enough to bother. Let us then buff you with Hard to Hit. We could also give him items, but I feel like... No. I'm always on the fence about giving items randomly or suddenly like this. 420, not bad. Let's do Scarred Vet, make sure that you don't die, meaning more time with Grand Shield of Faith, and then I guess well, these guys might run, so maybe the Root Marcher, although at the same time I'm not sure it actually activates. Let's do Sigmar's Ward. Alright, like that. Then, let's try to knock this guy out. About to knock the other guy out. Ooh, wait, we can pop you guys into the stance. Rarely get to use the trenches stance to get the additional missile strength, missile resistance, and ammunition, but why not here, right? We could give them like a ancillary... I mean, obviously we could give them like super powerful magic items, but I don't want to do that because it feels unfair. You have a barded warhorse. Maybe we'll get you a steel standard for you. I don't mind giving them banners / ancillaries, though. Banner of Eternal Flame? Base weapon damage, it's okay. Anything that would help them not rout, essentially. Ooh, we have a Griffin banner. I gotta give that... Yeah, I know who I'm giving that to. You can have a Gleaming Pennant. Let's do stuff that gives you leadership. Wait, what? I thought you couldn't equip 2 of the same banner. Wait, is... Huh? Is this a bug, or... You can now do that? Oh, I didn't know that. Nobody told me. So you're telling me you can now have multiple steel standards? Huh. That's really interesting. That is really... Oh, wow, I did not... Okay, this completely changes the dynamics of certain things. Just to double check that everyone can do it? Yeah, alright, okay. This is great. I can't believe nobody told me. This is why I should read patch notes. But oh well. Let's go for Fested here. And he's gonna run, and we'll hunt him down. The nation calls. The nation calls indeed, sir. Okay, you need to actually move into range, please. And then we'll fight. Alright, lovely. Pyrrhic victory. We got lots of Gleaming Pennants, I guess. We'll put them on the higher level Free Company Militia, and then we'll give the Steel Standard to... You know what? You're on a horse. Let's give the Steel Standard to the White Wolves in case they get caught by something. They're a pretty critical, high damage dealing unit here. Yeah. Alright, looks good. Let's go. Alrighty, for the Emperor indeed. I don't think we hear that enough from the various pre-battle speeches. I'm not being sarcastic, we genuinely don't hear it enough. Lots of 4 Sigmars, not enough for the Emperors. But anyway, here we go. We're going to have to be careful to actually pull this one off, I think, because the reinforcing army, being that summoned army, is base and thus not buffed. And then even the Skaven, like even the Gutter Runner Slingers, 39, 32, pretty solid melee attack and defense stats due to actually being buffed. 74 melee attack on the Plague Monks, definitely going to be a problem. 54, 47 on the Storm Vermin with 90 armor. And of course the Plague Claw Catapults are going to be a big problem. Anyway, the plan is we have moved our Deathjacks and our White Wolves behind the enemy army, who will hopefully work on the enemy Plague Claws and possibly other troops like the Rat Ogres, depending on where they go and whatever we can shoot at, really. But the Plague Claws are going to be absolutely critical here. We are going to sort of distribute our troops rather than do a battle line because well... As I've said before, generally speaking, I do battle lines because they look cool, but when you actually are worried about losing and when you need to be a little bit more careful with the deployment and thus distributed deployment here is what's going to serve. Partly to block off additional damage from things like the charges of the Rat Ogres or multiple units being tied up from the Plague Monks to prevent additional splash damage from the Plague Claw Catapults and etc, 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 etc. And Warp Lightning's potential as well. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off with the good old-fashioned mortar bombardment of the enemy, just annoying the enemy Plague Monks with the mortars because they can dish out a little bit more damage to them, being unarmored and all that, as opposed to the Storm Vermin, and that has annoyed the enemy artillery enough to start moving closer towards us. Hopefully we can damage the crews at least somewhat, but and at the same time, we're going to get ready to move the Deathjacks in and start firing. They do have snipes, so the enemy won't be able to spot them while they fire, but they don't have unspottable, so just a little bit more distance, and they will be able to see them. And just got to be careful about it. Anyway, firing into the back of those Plague Claws as the mortar shells continue to scream down from above, and our melee infantry start moving towards the enemy. Now, the main issue with this distributed deployment, and one of the reasons that I mostly use battle lines is that it's kind of hard to see what the heck is going on the battlefield when your units aren't all together, so I'm just going to have to essentially take a wider view in this particular battle. Anyway, looks like the enemy Plague Monks over in the rear have spotted the Deathjacks, and we're firing away at them with our White Wolves. Unfortunately, even with Frostbite being applied... Oh, Plague Monks are immune to contact effect, so no Frostbite being applied. They will catch up to the Deathjacks, but will continue taking arrows to the back. And frankly, I'm perfectly happy to sacrifice the unit of Deathjacks in order to kill off one of the devastatingly damaging unit of Plague Monks, which has already torn through one of our units of Pikes. And these Swordsmen are going to be in bad shape as well. They get hit with a nice... Warp Lightning, which takes about 45% of their HP. Otherwise, bounce of power is roughly even, in fact very slightly in the enemy's favor, but two of our units of Knights of the Empire, or Empire Knights, have managed to break through the enemy lines and crash into the enemy Plague Mortars, they wish, or Poison Wind Mortars, Plague Claw Catapults, that's the one, and have seen the crew off. The Plague Monks that were focused down by the White Wolves have been destroyed, and like our Knights, our Free Company are streaming around the enemy melee troops and are moving towards the enemy's backline. Really got to get rid of those gutter runners. And not get bogged down fighting the enemy melee, as the enemy would otherwise be able to do too much damage via range. Alrighty, bounce power still hovering at roughly even. Several of our units have routed in several of theirs, and I expect several of them will come back on both sides. Our unit of Free Company has unfortunately gotten caught by the Rat Ogres. However, our Lord here is going to intercept them and distract them, hopefully long enough for us to kill them off. Now, these guys can be affected by Frostbite, unlike the Plague Monks, so between the two units of Free Company Militia and the White Wolves, the Rat Ogres are pretty much out. Our units of Knights are trying to hunt down enemy gutter runners, whether it be with slings or whether it be with shuriken, but unfortunately they're a little bit too weak, as in our Empire Knights are a little bit too weak to tie those guys up. This, for example, was a one-on-one. They charged into those gutter runners, but then got kind of ripped apart. That's okay, though, I guess, as long as they're not firing. And we got others. We got to try to keep cycle charging as best we can. And shattering every unit that we can as well. Bounce power is still hovering at about 50-50, but it looks like we just got the enemy Lord sniped by the combination of crossbows and handguns. Pretty much our entire army is at about half HP at this point, but still attempting to run down individual units, and then afterwards shatter them. Looks like another unit of Empire Knights is out, but at the same time another unit of Night Runners, this time with slings, is out as well. Just going to keep firing away at them for as long as we can to make sure that they rout for good as well. Bounce power just climbing slightly in our favor now. Looks like some clan rats attempted to give chase to the Free Company, but they're just going to back off and keep firing, while our Arch Elector continues to block off at least one unit. And funnily enough, the AI is using the exact same strategy. It had, I believe, 4 heroes or something along those lines, and it charged its 2 assassins and its chieftain and whatever at our range units, distracting 1 unit of handgunners and 2 units of crossbows until we were able to surround and dish out additional damage to them. Now the chieftain is attempting to give chase to the Free Company militia, but like the piles of knight and gutter runners that the enemy army have, we're taking a little bit of a page relief out of their book, and doing the same thing to the chieftain, not allowing him to close and just dishing out damage with those Free Companies. Oh, lovely, and it looks like the chieftain is pretty much out. I believe only 1 assassin remains on field. Chieftain will be gunned down. Chieftain will be gunned down. There we go. And the bounce power shifts fully in our favor, and with that, the battle is ours. Definitely a close fight, but certainly worth it. This certainly saves our main army's time, and saves us from having to reinvest in the settlement. Lots of great work out of the White Wolves, who got 190 kills and 23,000 damage. I think the Deathjacks didn't do nearly as much here as they did when we summoned them a couple of episodes ago against Silostra, but by distracting that unit of Plague Monks, it was a significant significant investment, let's say, from the enemy army that they had to put in to get out 1 unit of archers, which ain't so great for them. Pyrrhic victory, but well worth it. The enemy army is destroyed. Alright, there we go. Solid little fight. The Empire Knights got kind of obliterated. They can't even really fight Gutter Runner Slingers by themselves because without buffs, Empire Knights are a very weak cavalry unit. They, well, they used to be pretty trash, even in, well, just generally speaking. But once you get them enough of red line buffs and stuff, they do become pretty okay, as we've seen in other battles. But they serve their purpose here, and this army can at least no longer threaten our current situation in Sylvania. We'll take the money because we don't really care about the healing here. And at least this way, even though it did cost us prestige, we don't have to march Elspeth down here or Lightdorf down here. We are free to do whatever it is that we're otherwise doing. I would like you to proceed to Oakenhammer, just in case more of these jerkos attempt to attack us, especially since you're a degrading, you know, little army here. We want to preserve this long enough to trade it to the dwarfs, and then what happens to it after, I genuinely don't care about. You are going to go back into Fort Brocher, and hold on to the White Wolves and the Deathjacks for now, just in case another Skaven army shows up. Let's get a few pikes in here, and I guess that's the only thing that we can build. Oh, wait. We can build 3 pikes if we start collecting the income. There we go. That's a little better. And then you're rank 14, funnily enough. Huh. If we reach you with rank 15, we could make you into a recruiter or a builder. Control growth, construction time, and construction cost via Holy Decree Time of Peace. Or a nice recruitment cost minus 20% and local recruitment capacity plus 3. Huh. Does that mean that the Archlectors are the best recruiters? I mean, for everything but War Machines, I guess, because War Machines you want to recruit with the Master Engineers, but the local recruitment capacity plus 3 alone is quite nice. So, yeah, we can put these guys to use, especially the ones with traits that I don't particularly like, or at least don't find them super useful. Anyway, let's see what else we got to do this turn. It's nothing, isn't it? Because we... Alright, we can start building back the... Alright, well, we could either do 1 tap room or 2 weaving houses, so let's start with the weaving houses. Yes, technically we're not collecting income, they won't give us anything, but I want them built up so that we can go up to tier 2 as soon as possible, just to save us time. And, oh right, Drakenhob is at... It's gonna take 2 more turns. Oh well. Guess we'll have to wait here with Elspeth anyway. But it's still better than going down here and then dealing with it. Anyway, skip. I imagine there is nothing else to do here. We can complete instantly the recruitment, but I don't think we have anywhere where we're recruiting significant numbers to make that worth our time. Did we get another livery constructed? I was going to. I wanted to build another demigryph. Yes, okay. I wanted to build at least 1 more demigryph for these guys for now. They could get with 5, and then we'll see. Huh, can you build Pistoliers here as well? You can. Okay, good. Alright, we'll put that to use probably next turn. We'll see. Anyway, let's skip. Oh, no more skipping. We've already skipped. Let's end the turn. Alright, looks like we have another higher nearby mercenaries to defend Stirland this time. Higher, and... yeah, they have no chance out of resolve. I mean... yeah, they have no chance out of resolve. And, yeah, barely any damage, go figure. We'll take the money to replenish the money that we spent aiding them. Lovely. Alright, campaign movement range, and, okay, that's fine for you. Constructors for Elspeth, yeah, sure. Regional power for the Great Orthodoxy. Ooh, we gotta be careful and get them to militarily align with us before, ah, damn, they've defeated Azag. I wanted his defeat trait on Karl, but oh well. Levigan's outpost construction, ready for duty. Gustav Hall, whoever that is. Ready for duty again. Barded Warhorse for somebody, and we're good. Alright, Karl. 1 second. Hey, you can upgrade the Reiksguard, good. We want the Chitogan Guard, but we'll need to deliver them. I guess what we can do is have this guy deliver them. Alright, so you're gonna go down here. Actually, we might have somebody else deliver them, but anyway, Karl, you're going to proceed to Pradeshina. And I think we haven't leveled you in a couple of turns, have we? Just check here, because if we haven't, we might as well do it right now. And yeah, 4 turns, or 4 points is probably 1 fight, or possibly 2 fights, considering the buffs that we currently have. I would like you to get Pistol Corps. Let's do 1, 2, 3, and then we'll... Yeah, I know it's heroic killing blow, but we'll get it eventually. Let's start with tenacity. And we should still have enough points to get all of this and make him into a monster... Well, I was about to say monstrous fighter, but more monstrous fighter. Monstrous, sir. Let's see. A gold wizard. We do want onslaught with you, and I do admittedly care at least somewhat about... potent, though we also want to make sure that we have at least access to the overcast variant of every spell in your... Yeah, I think you're good. Alright. And just checking how point hungry they are. Yo. Philip von Volkvan. You have a steam combatant retinue bard. Let's max out lead the state troops. We have hold the line. Is it time to finally build you out to be more of a fighter? I still want the point in Markification Sigmar's ward. I don't at this time really care about the maxing that one out, however. And Regiment of Renown isn't particularly useful because we're never recruiting in this army. Let's start going through hard to hit. Like so. We could actually probably get hero as well, but we'll see if we have enough points remaining on these guys to actually get that. You, warrior priest. Benediction, obviously. Get that spell resistance and leadership aura. It's not anything crazy, but it'll help out, I'm sure. I don't want these guys getting killed by spirit leeches and by missile damage, so let's do that. And I still haven't decided on bolstered attack versus bolstered leadership in this particular army. Not that we're in any kind of major hurry. We should probably still get wild-eyed, and we should probably also get augury. And maybe soothsaying as well for the additional leadership bonuses. But that would mean also going through inspirational, and will we have enough points to do that and go through one of these? Depending on how many of these points we want, I guess. We shall see as we keep on leveling. You, Ludwig, you're going to get your demigriff now, so let's get you... I'm going to say start with... Well, let's see. Your speed... Actually, I don't know what your speed's going to be. Demigriff. Speed is 138 on the demigriff? Nope, it's 83, compared to 75 in the Royal Altdorf Griffites, meaning speed isn't as useful to you at the current time because you need to keep pace with those guys. Nonetheless, we will want to get We Are the Elite for the entire army, and let's get Dwarf Forged Plate. You're hitting for 580 currently without any buffs, and obviously you're going to hit way, way harder as we build you up over the course of the campaign. Beautiful. Dolph, oh right, you got hit by those... darn mutagenic energies. Go stay near Resvenhof and then level up next turn, and then we'll attack the rogue army. Can't leave them there once again. Gavin von Wolfen. You... Hello. Vlad is outside the settlement. Ooh. Between the fact that these have Terrorgeist, Hexwraith, Black Knights, and... Yeah, alright, this is gonna be a fight. I guess we attack Vlad here, we kill off the 2.5 stacks, with I guess we'll need Isabella and Gavin to work together on this. And then we'll back away and then take Drakenhof next turn. I don't think Ungrim can reach it or anything like that. Actually, speaking of Ungrim, we want to upgrade the... Right, no, we have to wait, I think. Actually, can we trade Oakenhammer for... You know what? Wait, because these guys would then just immediately attack it and take it, wouldn't they? Because we have nobody out there right now. You're going to be busy here. This is interesting. Alright, let's see what we've got here. Do you have any siege? Do you have siege attacker on you? No. Do you have siege attacker? You do. Meaning, rather than pushing you southward... Ooh, Grimgor is close by. Gonna have to deal with him too. You're gonna head to Castle Templehof. Let's see what's going on out there.
Step to it.
Alright, we've got... actually a pretty map pile of rats. I'm surprised that it's valiant defeat, but I'm willing to bet that if we move in Theodric von Blutzen, that will no longer be the case. Go here. And heroic victory? Really? For this? Does this have a defensive structure or something? It does not have a defensive structure. Alright, fine. We'll just fight that in a bit. Let's see what else we gotta do before we get to fighting again, though. With both of these and these. I did say that this was going to be the Fall of Sylvania episode, and I think that remains to be the case. You, before moving forward... No, not you. You're good as you are. You. Recruiter. You are going to want to get the Borderman. 2,000 gold, alright. And we're going to want to move you to... Can we get military access with you? No. We're going to want you to move towards the orcs, as we'll want to deal with them. Take some Bretonnian territories to trade for other Bretonnian territories in order to get the Bretonnian territories that we want. Bretonnian territories. Anyway, let's move you. Like so, but not trespass through the Wood Elf territories. Oh, actually, wait, no, stop. Ah, okay, I couldn't click him quick enough. I'll just go here a little bit closer. I wanted to see if we could get vision of any of the other Wood Elf factions, just to see if we can't get any kind of agreements with them. Might as well take a look at Diplo now. Oh, wow, Legion of Setup. Sorry, guys, but we can't leave you in the Empire. Carrick Norn, you'd piss off the Wood Elves, so I'm going to leave you alone. Carrick Azor. Is it last time to be friends with the Urson Revivalists? I will check in a second. Got the Sigmar. You're at war with Clan Claw. I would kind of like vision of what's going on down there, just to see how well you're doing. Let's do this. Join war against Clan Claw. It's not like they're... Yeah, let's do this. We'll probably get into a war with them as soon as we confederate, but yeah, it looks like he's doing pretty okay. We can leave him alone. Oh, wow, he's going into the mountains. Interesting. All right, good for him. And yeah, let's see what else we've got in terms of Diplo. Defensive alliance with Urson Revivalists, I definitely want to keep an eye on. Great Orthodoxy as well. Carrick Azor, I'd love to, but I think this is not the time, especially since they are near to the Wood Elves. And that's iffy. Sylvania, Musion, Clan Creepus, Space Swords, and Clan Grutnik all want to peace out. We don't really... Oh, if we were to peace out with Grutnik, then we could... Okay, wait. That's those guys up there, right? But they're going to go for Essen, so maybe that doesn't really matter for us. Even if they take it, that would just make it easier for us to not have to trade Oakenhammer for it. Actually, out of curiosity. Oakenhammer is worth 72, so it's worth... Wait. Are you telling me it's actually not worth enough? Essen, Oakenhammer. Yeah, 1.5. Okay, so we can do it if we were to peace out with them, but then they'll just start sitting here and raiding our territories, won't they? I'm gonna think about it. We could push one of these guys back here. We'll see after we deal with the battles down there. What we really need to deal with is two things. Ooh, wait, I forgot about this guy. You, go grab this island. Fail to wreck. And auto-resolve, and... Really? It killed off one of the halberds? Well, that's not nice. Okay, well, I didn't even assume that could happen, so I didn't even check, but whatever. It's not a huge deal. It's a little bit unfortunate since it's a high-rank unit, but it's not like we were using them. They were just here, essentially. And grab the money. And see if we get anything interesting out of this. 8,000 money, which isn't bad. Alrighty, Von Kessel, you are waiting for several things. First of all, we're gonna get the witch... Wait.
The wild makes warriors.
You're in our own territory now, or no? No, you need to move towards our own territory, so I guess you need to cross towards Ergig. You are going to move into this army to provide them the much-needed devastating flanker for the demigryphs. You are... Wait. I would like you to go here. I would like you to transfer to Baldric with the long rifles, and then return to Fort Schiphol, and then you return to Ergig. Alright, we're at 15 out of 20 now. I want Wolfkin in here, but we won't be able to build them for one turn, so you're just going to have to wait for one turn until your army will be complete. How's the plague looking? Is it out? Oh, no, we still have it in Krudenwald. Alright, fine. Ludenhof, we will want you to build... But there are two things that I wanted to build here. What was the thing other than the demigryphs? I guess we could actually have you build the Wolfkin as well. We do have artillery available. We could preemptively start building the Knights of the Blazing Sun, though they are still relatively expensive here. Outriders with grenades, huh? Would it be faster? It might be faster to build them here in the city north instead and then ferry them over to the grenade army. We just need another recruiter for that particular purpose. And how close were you to rank 15 again? You are 14. One more battle and that'll do it for you. Alright, this degrading army. If we don't trade Oakenhammer now, it might get taken by the Skaven. Well, either way, there are other things that we need to deal with, which is the Elector Count State Troops. Imperial Foot. We want you on field primarily to... Well, we'll be building Reiksguard here. We can get another Recruiter Lord going. Methodical is fine, but you wouldn't be a Recruiter Lord. Lectors, you're rank 11. I wonder how quickly you'd level up if you just sit here and recruit. Or we could just get these guys again. Eh, fine, let's Fearless, though? Corruption. I just want to see if they have anything. Well, yeah, just take this guy. All right, use you. Let's see if we can level it. Can we get you the 500 XP from the machinations? Call to arms, not the thing I wanted, but we will use in a second. Okay, we got 2 turns on that. All right, so I want you to sit in the south bank, not recruit right now, just to hold on to the Imperial Foot Reichsguard for Kurt Helborg. Down to 15,000 gold, but it is what it is. It's necessary. Then we are going to go to Middenheim, and we will unify them. Wait. No, okay, I just wanted to see if we could get them to give us money for something, but that's not the case. Alrighty, unify Middenheim. Yes. Alright, beautiful. Then... Alalu's outpost, yeah. Alright, what do we have here? So, Boris Todbringer, what did the AI do to you? You've got Emperor's Finest, which... it buffs Swords of Ulrich, but it does not buff Wolfkin? You gotta be kidding me. It buffs Flagellants. Where are Wolfkin? They're buffed by Honest Steel with the Teutogan Guard. Well, that's annoying. That probably means we're gonna have to reset you, aren't we? You have Protector of the Drakwold, which reduces Knights of the White Wolf, Teutogan Guard, Wolfkin, and Swords of Ulrich, which is as it should be. And of course, you're immortal, and then you have the most ancient order similar to Grand Masters, so that you can command Knights of the White Wolf. Otherwise, I don't think... Yeah, otherwise you don't have any particular buffs to those units, but that's fine. You're still gonna lead the Ulrich army. And you got the White Cloak of Ulrich as well. Anyway, I guess that means since you can't get any use out of this portion of the tree, you're going to have to be reset, which is a shame, but it is what it is. The nation calls. What are you? Optical Specialist. Okay, so you have at least 1 Teutogan Guard, and then we have a bunch of... Wow, that's a lot of mortars. Yeah, Hellstorm Rocket Battery, but we could build them for fairly cheap now, so it's not a huge deal. 2 more Great Swords, 2 more War Wagons. Kind of tempted to keep some of the artillery. I'll delete this. Do any of you need any kind of artillery? I could give Von Kessel some cannons, like these cannons, for example. Alright, here we go. Boris, so you go in here. You will delete everything but the Teutogan Guard, because we don't need anything out of this. Like so. And then you will transfer to Boris the Teutogan Guard. You will take the 2 cannons. And get the 2 mortars as well. Or, you know what? Let's do... You know what, let's deliver all of these. Well, no. Delete 3, keep these, to one of these armies down here. You are going to deliver them down here. You are going to delete these mortars because it's too much. And then we are going to reset you, but you can hold on to the Teutogan Guards. So you will be... Wait, no. Before we reset you, we're going to make you into the Elector count again. Should be right at the end here. Boris Todbringer. You can stay as the Elector count, unlike many of the others. Alright, that activates the Teutogan Guard. You have the passive ability of the Reikland Rune, or Middenland Runefang rather, which will also allow you to heal, which is nice. Now, you are going to be reset. Like so. And then we'll pop in, it doesn't really matter who, let's get this Tactician upkeep reduction in owned territory. Oh, you're rank 13. Maybe we'll actually use you to level a little bit more and get you up to 15. Why not? Alright, and then you stay here. We don't really need you to recruit. I would if we had Wolfguard, but Wolfkin rather, but we don't. Let's pop you into Council of Burgomeisters, and then we'll immediately build the Knights of the White Wolf chapter house afterwards to start on that, and then upgrade the Wizard Campus. Keep the Foundry, don't bother with the barracks, and I think don't bother with the handguns. And then, yeah, that should be just enough to build everything minus the Middenheim Great Temple of Ulrich. But that'll take a little bit. And also it doesn't... Well, weapon strength plus 10 when attacking... Oh, an owned territory? No, that's terrible. That's atrocious. It does basically nothing for most of the campaign. Anyway, now that that's done... You can't reach this, can you? I serve Sigmar. And we need to... It is time. I want to get 2 of these up and running for Karl, so I guess we'll use a Fairy Lord here as well to deliver them to Karl. Alright. You are going to immediately go for... Who can we use as a Fairy Lord? Let's go with this guy. Right here, pop in, and then recruit the 2 Teutogan Guard. Expensive though they may be. That puts us to... Oh, we have a one noble sons abroad available. We need to get them somewhere as well. There's actually various armies where they would work very nicely. I did say I wanted a couple of them in Dolph's army. I think he deserves some more rewards because he's been doing very, very well. But we can't, well... It is a shame to lose very high-tier pistoliers, but nonetheless... We'll put them in there, but we'll need somebody to deliver them, and thus we need to recruit them somewhere on somebody who can deliver them. I guess we can have Aldebrand Ludenhof hold them, although he's kind of far. Maybe we just get another Temple Lord here, just really close by. It's not going to be for long, after all. I don't want to summon a new Lord, though, because it costs money. Let's get this guy, I guess. 295, whatever. Alright, pop in, and then summon the Noble Sons Abroad. And the reason I wanted to do that immediately was so that we can go Machinations and immediately pop in Requisition, and all Elector Count state troops will be replenished, like so. Lovely. Then, that will enable us to... Okay, so you are only delivering them to Karl. We need at least one unit out of every one so that the cooldowns immediately start. So you're going to pop in here. You're gonna pop in here. This is gonna take all our money this turn, but, you know, it's a rare thing, so we gotta do it now. We need at least one more of the man-eaters, so you can hold on to the man-eaters for now. And wait. Free company. You have one... Okay, yes, so we'll go 1, 2. Just get them immediately, because this guy's gonna deliver them, and then this guy. Yes. Alright, like so. There goes all our cash, down to 13,000, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, we got the Borderman handgunners. We have 2 in this army now, unless I'm mistaken. Yes, okay, so you're good. We need the others for the Grenadier army. So you can have both Bordermen, and you can have both this, and you know what? Do just the one of each, because it'll start the cooldown. And we don't have a lot of money right now. We probably won't even have enough to get the rest. We want the Drakewald Riders. Okay, you know what? We need to fight and get money. How are we going to do that? Gelty, I have a job for you, sir.
I am ready. Are you?
Yes, yes, I'm very ready. Grab from Wolfram the 2 Hellstorm rockets. Trade out the crossbows and, I don't know, one of the pikes. Doesn't really matter. Your army's not yet complete, but it is complete enough for our purposes to fight the battle. Let's level up Gelt and let's get him. Max out his magics, well, probably a good idea to do. On the other hand, are we going to be using artillery a lot here? Yeah, go for Imperial Gunnery first. Alrighty, what about the Captain, who is a high rank, even if I'm still not entirely sure about having him in this army? We're going to want to grab the Officers Squad, so remember your training. And then lastly, this guy, who's probably not casting anything but Curse of the Midnight Wind, if anything at all. But you never know. Let's grab Magical Reserve. Well, no, that's not going to help here. Chain Lightning, maybe? We can only cast Gehenna's once, so... Yeah, alright, time for the Staff of Volans quest, which is down here, but I feel like maybe we want to preserve the movement. If we don't get sufficiently damaged, we could wipe out Black Buckthorn's army. On the other hand, it is free money. And, oh, we'll actually want to... You know what? We'll actually want to move south and grab Hanging Rock, so yeah, fine. You know what? Let's just do this manually. I don't remember the last time I actually moved an army to fight like this, as opposed to teleporting. Alright, let's see what the enemy brings. Is it more Empire Secessionists? Let's find out. Oh, I didn't read the... Okay, we'll read it after the fight, if I remember. You know what? No, I want to read it now. Well, let's give this a read. Staff of Volans. Every 8 years, a wizard who has proven himself worthy may challenge the master of the colleges to a magical duel, with the winner becoming the next supreme patriarch. The competition, even to become a candidate, is white hot. Balthazar Gelt is the patriarch of the Gold Order and tipped to win, but a rival light wizard, Gottfried Orr, desperate for the position, wants rid of Gelt before they even reach the Hall of Duels. After procuring a valuable lodestone at the southern tip of the World's Edge Mountains, Gelt retraces his steps to Altdorf, confident that it will see off Orr's challenge. The rival light wizard, however, has other ideas. Alright, now we can fight it. Go. Gelt must prepare for an arcane duel. Or has always been a powerful rival and highly capable mage. He is sure to attack early, so Gelt must prepare his magical defenses. He must also be especially wary, as the ambush will not be the only part of Or's plan. He will have something else up his white robe. Phrasing, guys.
If Or thinks he can take what is rightfully mine, then he is very much mistaken. I will be Supreme Patriarch. I will wield the Staff of Volans. The wind of Shaman will rise and blast any who get in my way. Now is the time for the Gold Order, and I will brook no interference. Any who get in my way will see their armor run into lead goblets, their blades melt, and their bones turn to gold. Now, men, fight! Bring me victory! The Emperor needs me, not some pathetic pyromancer or insipid white wizard. For the good of the Empire, I will rise to the highest magical office in the land, and this fool will not stop me!
Alrighty, to battle indeed, and here we go. Nice little speech from Gelt, and a big old pile of rockets head towards that little mortar crew, even with them, or cannon crew rather, even them with them being hidden in the tree line in this manner. Pretty good use of that by the AI, incidentally. The mortar and they're both cannon crews. Okay, both of the cannon crews will get obliterated, especially with a little bit of help from Gelt. The enemy army is milling around in confusion. We have a solid position up on top of this hill where we have our 5 rocket batteries, and then below the hill, essentially surrounded by our spears from every direction. I don't remember this battle, or at least I don't remember where the reinforcements will come from, though I fully expect it to be from this side because it's in the tree line, and that would be most inconvenient, and thus that's probably where they're gonna come from. All the while, Gelt has essentially killed off the enemy light wizard. He's down to about 30% of his HP, but he is dying. A final transmutation is upon him, and he's got 800 HP. Now it's activated its next level, and his HP will keep dropping. Of course, it wasn't just Final Transmutation that killed him. We hit him a few times with Gelt and with his Empire Captain. And there we go. This poor little army is having a very, very bad time, but as expected, and the reinforcements have arrived. And it does look like they have a fair bit of armor-piercing weapon damage available, as I see 3 units of Outriders here. Not to be underestimated. 97. Huh. I guess it's what is other, I wonder? 97 is high. They're doing more damage than our own high-rank Outriders. What the heck? What the heck, AI? I mean, I guess AI stats are buffed up, but still. It's tremendously rude. I guess we just need to buff our own Outriders even more. Anyway, the rocket artillery will keep blasting away at the enemy until morale improves, though I'd wager that our morale is pretty high at this point. And there is this issue for the AI with all of these rocket batteries. The AI likes to dodge shots from them rather than try to run the gauntlet and move towards our army, which means this first army is effectively doing nothing whatsoever. It's just taking rocket after rocket to the face and even to the demigriff, which admittedly aren't going to take a crazy amount of damage from the rockets, but they'll take enough. There we go, and even the occasional demigriff will eventually go down. Alright, that said, with this army moving on in, we are going to have to deal with them somehow, and that means sending our Knights of the Black Rose, as well as Gelt and his Empire Captain himself, into the woods. And there we go, the Knights of the Black Rose will apparently close with some Outriders. Foolish on their part, as they will get obliterated if they fight for too long. Our Sylvanian Guard and our units of pikes are also getting ready to head into the enemy settlement. Alright, though funnily enough, the color scheme of the enemy being sort of, I don't know, gray and black and whatever they've got going on here. Or is it just black and white? Okay, I guess the gray was white, but whatever. The black and white color scheme that they've got going on here, almost making them look as silver as our Sylvanian Guard. And let's see what these stats are like on these guys. 64 melee defense due to their HP, pretty solid. Their melee attack is barely existent. Funnily enough, I'd wager we could probably get our spears to have higher melee attack than the Sylvanian Guard. Simply because we can buff them. But oh well. I still like the idea of those guys in there. Anyway, the first army has by and large been destroyed at this point. Only the demigryphs and a couple of badly damaged units remain in the fight, and that, I'd wager, not for long. Got a bit of a sort of half moon, I guess, formation of spears and Sylvanian Guard working together on the enemy. Sylvanian Guard waiting for more of their sort of ilk to join them in this particular force, as well as the Eldred's Guard, because they're nice and golden. And like I said, probably Knights of the Blazing Sun, mostly because they're golden as well. And just to go with the color scheme. Not that we expect to do too much fire damage in this army, sadly. And I do say sadly mostly because I feel like perhaps the rocket battery should do fire damage, but at the same time explosive damage also makes sense for them. Actually, if we put them relatively close to each other, or give them an engineer carrying a banner of eternal flame, we could always make them do fire damage. Anyway, our Knights of the Black Rose, at least for now in this army, are cutting down whatever enemies they can reach. And the balance of power is rapidly shifting in our favor. Our rocket batteries no longer need to target the First Army's elements of infantry and are now solely attempting to focus down the units of demigryphs. It takes a lot of rocket power to bring down a unit of demigryphs, but with the help of the final transmutation and the judicious application of rocketry, it looks like the demigryphs will shatter. The second unit of demigryphs will shatter, and with that, the battle is ours, and the staff of Volans claimed by Gelt. There we go. Oh, lovely. Do a little bit of a chase with our Sylvanian Guard, etc., just because we gotta wait for the battle to actually end. And there we go. Beautiful. Funnily enough, it does make sense for the light wizard guy to really want the staff of Volans, even regardless of the fact that obviously he wants the power and the fact that he wants to become the Supreme Patriarch. Volans, for those unfamiliar with the lore, was the very first Supreme Patriarch of the Colleges of Magic, and funnily enough, he was a light order wizard. So yeah, once again, it does make sense. Anyway, a lovely little fight for Gelt. It was always fated that he take the crown, or the staff, rather. All right, very nice. The rocket batteries cleaned house. Of course, 5 of them is a fairly large amount, but, well, gotta do what you gotta do. And Gelt does like that sort of thing. Does feel like it does warrant some range units other than those in this army to actually snipe single targets, but on the other hand, by not keeping any single target snipers in the army, that could keep it a little bit more interesting for enemies that are large units and monstrous units that will be able to inevitably eventually reach our battle lines. So the Sylvanian Guard and the Eldred's Guard that will be in here, the silver and gold stack will thus have a chance to actually fight enemies. It's just the nature of the rock, paper, scissors army, and once again, one of the reasons I find them really fun to do. Anyway, I guess we don't really need to heal. Take the money. Gelt did well, 48k. All the artillery did well as well, and I should at least name one of them. I'm gonna start naming some of the artillery pieces now, since we're getting a fairly decent amount of them. I've been waiting for a bit on it. Oh, we gotta move the tech thieves as well. Admittedly, we haven't been using a crazy amount of artillery so far in this campaign, so, you know. Okay, wait, that was Gelt, not Elspeth. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. Good. Gelt can also be used to train up wizards if we want to do that with him as well. But there we go. Immunity to attrition, control plus 25 all provinces, character XP gain, and most importantly, well, the control was most important to counteract the Confederation debuffs that we've had basically every turn now. Gelty, I guess you can move towards Hanging Rock, or at least start moving towards it.
Ulrich
And then you can lose these guys, and frankly... Oh, you've reached rank 15. Does rank 15 do anything for these guys? You have V-Slayer. Oh, you also have another terrible trait. And while you can recruit stuff, I don't think there's anything here that would help you become a good recruiter. But with Headhunter, you can still be useful to some degree, so we'll keep you around. As an emergency recruiter, even though I like the Arch-Electors and basically every other kind of lord has some kind of recruiting benefits, but not those guys. Again, another reason that the poor huntsman generals are kind of meh. Anyway, let's move the tech thieves. 100%, yes, didn't even need to level yet. I guess we're going through to Potent, so let's keep going through to Potent. Yeah, I might as well move all the heroes so that we don't get confused, and by we, I mean me, I will get confused. You have, Champion, not bad. You can then head up north towards Emil von Corden. You're going to want to join him. Oh, yeah, I assume that you were confederated. Oh, what the heck? AI. Really? You took Winston? It took like 8 turns for you to actually take Winston, and then after you did nothing with it? Come on. Alright, Dienste, you are going to lose the building. Wait, what's our... Yeah, still don't have capacity. Oh well. Lose the livery, I guess. Keep the Gunforge because we keep them everywhere. Delete this, and then we'll build this up next. Well, actually, we don't really save that much. Might as well build it now. Alrighty. What about Middenheim itself? We have... did we get any more capacity of that? Surprisingly, no. Alright, Middenheim itself is fine, and I think we got one more province, and of course it's a province with a plague, but... Wait, was Schoppendorf ours? Maybe this was ours, I don't remember. I'm just wondering because these guys have roads and a clothier and the Imperial Harbor, and the clothier only built to tier 2. That's suspiciously decent work for the AI. Anyway, I'm gonna get a Sigmarite Dogma, and oh, 5 turns from Plague. You just got it? Yeah, of course you just got it. And we got Plague here as well. Let's just hope that it doesn't spread any further. Anyway, back to the tech thievery and the rest of these guys. Oh, we do have another captain. You have... No. What about... Okay, Volkmar Scout, obviously. Okay, you can be deleted, assuming that you don't have... okay, let's... Oh, you have a smuggler. Alrighty, let's give that smuggler to somebody. I guess we could give it to the other guy. You can have the smuggler then. Get ready for some smuggling. Where be ye? Like so. Lovely. Alright, who's after that? Volkmar Scout, you are going to... Oh, well, I guess you don't really need to be down here anymore since we have a defensive alliance with these guys and we have vision of them. You have Bannerman, which I don't really care for, meaning you can be deleted as well. We need more capacity for these guys after all, since they're needed in many an army. Both melee and range. Tech Thieves. Alright, you're the level 7 Tech Thief. I still have great concerns about you and your capabilities. Let's see. Barrack Dow's bag, 76%. Yeah, success. And up to level 8 now. Just gets to get to level 12 for that Lord's Counselor. And then you'll be fine. And then you, level 14 Tech Thief, 98%. Unlikely that you'll be failing, but you never know. The game will surprise you, or maybe not surprise you, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, move through untapped potential. Lovely. Y'all are doing good work. Last Tech Thief, you should be at 100%, 96%, close enough. And then you can level up as well, just trying to get towards Machinations of the College. Hero action success chance +2 for all characters faction-wide, and magic item drop chance +5 for all characters faction-wide. It's good stuff. Alrighty. Who is Ian von Bluten? Oh, the new guy that's just ferrying troops with the terrible trait. Alright, you're gonna be troop train. Like so. And you have no mount, which is good, because you weren't going to get one. Theon Kalb. Who the heck is Theon Kalb? Oh, I guess it's another confederated guy. Let's see what trait you have. Tactician, which isn't too bad, but we're not going to use it here and now, and we're going to delete you. Oh, wait. We're going to reset you, because I assume the AI did something with you. And it's usual, it is not something we necessarily want. Alright. Who are you again? Oh, right, the summoned army, which will disappear. I guess just keep it here for the turn, because I haven't decided how we're going to deal with this whole situation. Von Kessel, you're waiting for troops so you can channel while you wait. Gonna be a while before we have additional magicians available. You guys... We'll be recruiting next turn. You can, of course, however... Okay, let's do this. We're going to go with conscription, is it? No. Call to arms. Recruitment cost reduction here. Like so, mostly because I want you to get at least one more, I'm going to say, Lancer Demigriff. 3 in the 3 to lead together with Bruckner as the tip of the spear, and then 2 Demigriffs to reinforce, and then you can build some Pistoliers as well. Although, actually, well, they're pretty cheap, but we could wait a couple of turns before we build them. I don't know how many we want in this army, but yeah. Alright, that looks good to me, at least for now. I don't know why I started going through the list from the bottom, but now I'm kind of committed. Yeah, you're fine. Recruiter Beckberg, you're fine. Richter von Wolfen, I did want you to level, but there's nothing to really do with you. I guess you could leech XP once we hit Castle Drakenhof, but if another rat army comes down, you're going to need to reinforce something, so I think you're just going to stay here. And I'd love to recruit, but we may need the money for additional troops. Alright, Leopold, you're waiting for Mr. Toddbringer to bring the Todd at last. Theodric Gosse. Will we have any spare troops to give to von Kessel, I wonder? You know what, go here, you might have some spare troops. Especially since they're high rank, we can put them to use in somewhere. In fact, you have low-ranking huntsmen. We can trade you the higher-ranking huntsman. Yeah, alright. Those guys will come in handy. Good, Ruinous, good. Elspeth. Alright, I guess we've made it to this point in the list, which means we're gonna fight a big ol' fight. You are going to swap into trenches stance. You are gonna swap into, I'm gonna say encamp stance for the, for the additional melee defense. And I'm going to assume that Vlad won't run from this. I'd be surprised if he did.
Amethyst Mage.
Alright, let's level up, because Elspeth has reached rank 50, because I guess the battles that she fought against Vlad, those massive fights, and including this fight, will have given us plenty to work with. Yes to the earthing. I want at least 1 point in aspect of the Dread Knight, although we rarely use it. We do occasionally pop off Doom and Darkness, but is it worth the point is the question. Now, Elspeth has... Okay, so she has Mighty Forge, and she's in need of Mighty Forge. Strength of Hardship, probably not useful in her army. Mighty Forge, Artillery, and Pistol Core. Oh, Speed of Horse also, potentially. She is going to keep the Knights of the Black Rose. Let's do Root Marcher, let's do Speed of Horse. I guess that means no Lightning Strike or Quartermaster if we want everything else, which we do, so it is what it is. Mark of Kish, definitely. Sigmar's Ward and Hold the Line, most definitely. I guess we could max out the Dark Lady. I don't really care about the Hero Self-Defense chance, but you know, occasionally the AI manages to pop one of those off, and on the occasion that they do, it is annoying. Yeah, fine. Dark Lady, might as well max out her lore completely. Oh, or we get the option of attrition reduction. It's nice, but it's probably fine. We're probably fine without it. And I believe that's it. I guess we're just gonna get brass lunged. Frankly, Elspeth doesn't really need it because she's rarely with the rest of her army, but it's probably the only point that we can spend. Anyway, there we go. Rank 50. Your minions, however, are not at rank 50, so let's keep leveling them. You can get at least 1 point in gun sight. You guys do pretty okay damage. Let's get you Deadly Onslaught and start moving through Always Ready. Alright, you have the Ballistic Plating for Lord. I wish that I wonder if there's an armor that will give Elspeth some block chance, some missile block chance, because otherwise this trait is kind of useless, but whatever. Oh, right, I could never figure out whether I wanted the Empire Captain to be... I mean, he is her champion, and thus this would buff him, but he's probably going to be reasonably strong even without it. Without the Demigriff, I mean. And for the cause will probably be more beneficial to Elspeth because it'll give a sort of sub-commander. On the other hand, if we replace one of these guys, one of the Null Ironsides, with another Empire Captain, that would kind of fix the situation. On the other hand, we'd probably get more mileage out of another engineer in this particular army as well. You know what, I still haven't decided, so we're going to go through We Are the Elite and then Retinue Trainer. And I guess we still have some points left over. Might as well max out Esteemed Combatant since it's a pretty useful trait, and I guess we'll go through Hard to Hit into Foe Seeker. Could get at least 1 point in the in Hero for the XP for units, but frankly, her units are probably fine. You know what? I'd like you to get... I probably should have got Mark of Hish, but I'm too lazy to redo it. There we go. Good enough. Elspeth, let's go for Vlad one more time. Wait a second. Do you, Gavin... You don't have Vlad's defeat trait, do you? Okay, so here's the issue with that. Let me just see here. It's a 5% hit points, enemy action, success chance -5, all characters faction. Yeah, fine, we want to double up on the trait. That means Elspeth will reinforce. The main issue here is that with Elspeth reinforcing, her artillery won't be on the battlefield immediately. But it is what it is. We're just going to have to deal. Alright, Gavin, you get the defeat trait then. Alright, big old fight, close victory. We got a Vargulf, lots of Graveguard, some Sylvanian handguns. We got 2 Terrorgeists. Oh, 2 Terrorgeists and 2 Vargulfs, a black coach. Decent amount of Ghosties, a pair of Hex, right? Decent amount of Vamps. I think it'll be a pretty darn good fight. Go. Wait. Yes, we did reach the engagement threshold, and, you know, I think I've waited long enough. The engagement threshold will now be lowered, 400 likes and 60 comments. And the next episode will be an hour-ish, hour-long, hour-adjacent, etc. as well. Go. All right, I forget every single time that the Grandmasters are silent. Anyway, here we go. Vlad, yet again, with an absolute ton of units. We certainly have a fight here, and we're going to start said fight off with our Vanguard deployed Huntsman focusing down the enemy Vargulf. It is only a single Vargulf, and it looks like the 2 units of Huntsman will be able to bring the big boy down before it manages to reach us. So they've already effectively paid for themselves. In the meantime, Vlad is here deployed only with a pile of zombies, so we're going to send our Grand Master, the General of the Empire, the Captains, all towards Vlad to try to kill him off before the reinforcements arrive. I doubt that we can make it happen, mostly because Vlad has an absolutely insane amount of healing and we don't have Elspeth to dish out massive damage to him, but we'll give it a shot. Alright, gonna pop that Flock of Doom upgraded on the zombies in the meantime and charge on through with our Empire Knights / Drekwold Riders. Going to power everybody up here as well with the Vissen's Wild Form, giving them additional armor-piercing damage, or base weapon damage rather, as well as armor, and hopefully allow us to do a little bit more damage to Vlad, who's down to about 60% of his HP. As we've seen before with Vlad, however, that means nothing. He can go from 0 to basically full very, very quickly, especially when the Von Karstein ring activates. Which again is as it should be. Also, I love fighting the undead in these maps, these sort of dead marshes, the swampland marshlands, with the balefire going around and such. It feels so cinematic and appropriate to fight these guys here. Anyway, unfortunately, the enemy reinforcements have arrived, and ours have as well. Elspeth is rapidly attempting to close the distance, and is going to pop off her first Spirit Leech Overcast to increase the distance on Vlad out here, but he's still at half HP. As usual, and once again, it's very hard to bring Vlad down. And we'll just keep working away at it with our single entities. The enemy's second lord has arrived on Zombie Dragon. I still feel like Vlad should have the option of having a mount, but SFO does give him the ability to transform into a bat, which is kind of neat. Alright, and it looks like the enemy's second lord with that zombie dragon has arrived with Hex Wraiths in tow, so we gotta be real careful. We are going to use the Kettle's Call to activate our Great Hawk summoning, not because we expect them to do a massive amount of damage, just want them to distract the Terrorgeist so that it can't get a Terrorgeist breath down on our units. These guys will be out of the picture very quickly at this rate, but they'd be out of the picture very quickly at any rate. Also trying to get some mileage out of our Amber Wizard here. Unfortunately, he does get hit with the and with the Storm of Night and takes a bit of damage doing so, but that's alright as it allowed Elspeth to not get hit by it. Speaking of Elspeth, she's going to move towards the droves of undead that have entered the battlefield. Going to pop off that purple Son of Zoraeus, activate Fate of Biuna on the super high value hex rates, and continue using her spells on Vlad, who has reached his healing cap and is now down to about a 60-ish% of his HP. Now he can't recover, and our spell work will keep on coming in. There we go. Vlad's Spirit Leech, with the Spirit Leech and the Dragon will probably be able to take him down. Just a little bit more work, and he's going to drop. I'm going to try a little bit of Holy Fire and such as well as we move our Warrior Priest in to help matters along. And, oh, no, he's still up and running. And there are still plenty more enemies moving on the way. I see that second Terrorgeist, the second Vargulf. Crypt Horrors, lots of stuff, basically. And Vlad is, I mean, he's been an absolute monster in the sense that it's so difficult to bring him down. But at long last, Vlad will fall. We'll see him again next turn, however. Alright, in the meantime, ooh, the Crypt Ghoul is looking pretty great in the marshlands like this. But they're probably not going to breach the line of halberds, especially with arrows coming down from the crossbows and the huntsmen. Our Knights of the Black Rose have helped hold off the enemy Karen Wraiths and whatever other units reach the battle line over on the right flank, but that is just the beginning, as we've got plenty more where that came from. Once again, magics are going to fly as a purple Son of Zoraeus will be followed up by the Burning Head and a Flock of Doom on the massive piles of undead headed towards us. The Black Coach will move towards us as well, and we don't have the range units available to bring it down. A, and B, they're kind of not firing anymore anyway, due to there being too many units on the battlefield. We just gotta get used to the bug happening. Elspeth deals with the enemy's second Terrorgeist so that we don't have to send somebody else in her place, and it looks like our Amber Wizard on his Griffin has touched down, popped off that Kettle Skull to recharge the enemy Karen Wraiths, and a good use for the Hawks as well, because it's a instant morale shock to any enemy. And things like Karen Wraiths, well, we need the help. The Karen Wraiths did, however, do plenty of damage, 43 kills, 12,000 damage. They were working through those Drakewald Riders as the armor-piercing damage on the Karen Wraiths and the lack of magical damage on the Riders meant that it was a fair bit of effort. The Halberds, however, are holding off the enemy Graveguard just fine, and the Amber Wizard, once again the fighty wizard, is doing pretty good in helping out. Got to love fighting the vamps, and Vlad has, delivered us 3 big battles now? Yeah, so this is the third, and I guess we'll have one more before we knock him out for good. But pretty darn epic fights with so many enemies on field, and I guess with our 2 armies, so many of our own. I mean, look at that. Gotta love it. Our artillery have unfortunately not really been able to contribute in this particular battle because we got our reinforcements moving on to the field all the way on the other side of the map, but that's alright. They'll get a few volleys up, and it looks like we might not need them. The Halberdiers and the Knights of the Black Rose have stopped the relentless advance of the Graveguard in its tracks, and even with the armor-piercing weaponry of those great weapon Graveguard, we should be good. Another Fate of Biuna comes down, and with the help of the Death's Timekeeper, kills off that unit of Crypt Horrors. And it looks like the battle is just about ours. There we go, wanted to see the tank fire off one more volley. There we are. With that, the enemy army shatters, and the battle is ours. One last little unit of Sylvanian handgunners to destroy, and we'll pop off a few grenades and the purple sun for them to meet their end. Very well done to these two, and again, appreciate Vlad for the big old fights. Ooh, alrighty, and we got another Razor Standard, which I'm probably going to give to Karl so that he can have two now that we can do two banners. Anyway, a nice battle, and oh, this time Vlad actually gets killed off in the first round. However, his Vargul, his Hex Rates, his Terror Geists, his Karen Rates, basically every single unit that's more expensive has survived. But will they survive for long, however? I don't think so. We will... Oh wow, there's basically no money. You know, might as well heal up for the auto-resolve then if it's effectively no cash. Praise Sigmar. As one does. Oh, are we going to be able to reach you down here? I fear... Oh, yeah, we are. Okay, well then, good. You're kind of stuck in the zone of control, but that might not necessarily be the case in a second. What's the garrison looking like? We want to kill off the garrison completely, I guess. Alright, fine. I'm just gonna hope... Okay, here's what we'll do. Seasoned Campaigner, Razor Standard, good, Scroll of Power. Yeah, alright. Go after Henrik. I guess Mr. Gavin won't be able to reinforce here, but it is what it is. We don't want to besiege because this way we can kill off all this. I'm gonna quick save this because I don't want the game to crash, and I also kind of don't trust the auto-resolve. Rather than waste time to play it manually, which we could, admittedly. And then that way we wouldn't have to worry about the steam tank getting horrifically damaged unnecessarily. And then waiting like 10 turns for it to revive. Auto-resolve. Please, steam tank, don't die. Yeah, well, it didn't die, but it did get hurt, and we can't heal it, but don't worry. And they've revived again, but it is what it is. And now, Elspeth, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Now you're stuck in the zone of control. Okay, so I would like you to besiege this. Then I would like Elspeth, free armor fortune, to march stance, and then go into our own territory, where hopefully the tank will heal. Like so. And yeah, it's, oh, we can also channel instead. Then you can break the siege. We want these guys to finish upgrading Drakenhof to tier 5, which will probably re-up the garrison, but at the same time, I'd rather take it immediately at tier 4 because it's a, it'll be a solid location. Lovely, and just to double check, nobody's nearby to actually steal this from us, right? I don't think so. It would be unfortunate if that were the case. And man, these guys suffer a lot of attrition. There's no way to reduce the attrition that they suffer, is there? I guess not. Oh well. You're staying in Oakenhammer, and I still haven't made a decision on Clan Grutnik. Who is Clan Grutnik? They have 3 territories. I have no idea where they're from. Is this Grutnik? You're fighting Grutnik, right?
Will you join me, men of the Empire, in finding death in glorious battle?
Are you really finding death in glorious battle, Ogre? Why don't you ask your kid? Oh, you can't. Okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, I assume that this is Grutnik and this is Ferric, so if we peace out with them and then do the Essen trade, maybe we can ignore them for now. And while we wipe out Ferric, and then by the time they're back, I really don't want to deal with them causing attrition, but maybe we'll do this. Alright. Peace out. Wait, you know what? Peace out with them after trading Essen, just in case this has some kind of impact on it. I don't think that it does, but just in case it does, it does. You. Out, you. Oakenhammer for Essen.
Some call me a king. You are welcome.
Give us money.
Here. Yes.
Good. And that completes this territory, and then we'll pop you into Council of Burgomeisters, and then we'll peace out with you, also for money. Alright, Ungrim's not going to like it, but I'd rather not have to deal with them right now anyway. Province secured, Bleak Moors. Beautiful. Alright, that decides that. We still... Oh, wow, you're actually in range of Van Helden Schloss. I would like to send... I would love to send you there, but then these guys might recover enough over the end turn. Huh, actually, now that I think about it. We wouldn't be able to get siege attack. Or, well, actually, we might if we transfer an artillery piece. If you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, it's this. The defeat trait for Vlad. We could potentially get another lord with it because he'll revive next turn. Enemy hero action success chance -5. It'll mean not getting assassinated as much. Anybody who's decent that we can use this? This guy maybe. He's level 13, which ain't too bad. I don't like the Huntsman Generals, generally speaking, and Combatant and Devoted, don't particularly care for you two. Well, we'll make an Arch-Elector Lord, though, don't worry. The one to lead the sort of flagellant caravan of faith. Yes. I guess this guy's the only decent option, so we'll do you then. Grandmaster, Wolfric Giga. Wait. What's the likelihood that he can't reach Castle Drakenhof from here? Alright, let's summon you here then. Outside of Eschen. And then that should, in theory, work? Alright, we will find out shortly. You know what, just in case they besiege Eschen, we will leave it. We'll still heal, and we can also channel as well. I guess you can channel as well. Actually, get a little bit closer to him. Just in case. You guys are close enough, right? Just to double check. Yes, okay. That is now more or less solved. Let's take a quick look again at this situation. Alrighty, so we did want Gavin to get his missing Drakewald riders, though again I'm probably going to split those guys off into another army. I guess we can lose these Empire Knights, though. They're free to be upgraded into Reiksguard or Knights of the Blazing Sun if we wanted to. They're rank 6, but at the same time we could build them, so let's just get them out. And then we'll pop the... No, wrong Knights. Drakewald riders in. Alright, beautiful. Now, we want the 2 noble sons abroad. We're actually... Alright, I was going to pop them... 1, 2, okay, yes. 2 noble sons abroad. We're gonna get 1 in here. We could do all 4 of these noble sons abroad, but I don't want to, you know, overdo it in terms of relying too much on the state troops, although those state troops are significantly cheaper due to the reductions we have. I don't know, how do you guys feel about it? I mean, it is part of the mechanic. Do we replace every regular troop with a state troop version of it, which is more powerful, admittedly, but it's not like a crazy amount more powerful? Well, it depends on the particular case. The Noble Sons Abroad are much better pistoliers due to stagger shot, but the various Empire Knight units not so much. They're kind of the same. Anyway, Gundermans and stuff we still need to put on cooldown. We will want Knights of the Everlasting Light in Kessel's army. So I might do 6 because we've been doing 4 in other ones. And also, considering the sort of bad luck of the Knights of the Everlasting Light, that's kind of their thing. They're the cursed chapter, as it were. A lot of parallels in 40k, I guess, but anyway. Von Kessel, with his Mark of Chaos branding his face, feels like an appropriate lord to lead them, doesn't he? Maybe it's just me. Anyway, I would like another Witch Hunter. Hey, we got another outfitted one. Good. That's one of the ones we did, right? Because I want 4 of them, for his Witch Hunter retinue. So we just need to upgrade one of the tap rooms somewhere in order to get the capacity. I guess we could do it here. I wish it wasn't 2.8k, but it is what it is. I don't think anywhere we have that we'll build it in 1 turn. Frankly, now that I think about it, we'll want 2 more, so we might... Nah, I was about to say we might want to upgrade 2, but then we need 1 more on cooldown, which is the Gunderman Surefires. Which we need 1 here. Oh, or we want 2 in the Drakewalder army, which would also be here. Yeah, might as well finish up Gavin's army until it's traded away, so let's do the 2 Gunderman Surefires. Because in the other army, I'm not 100% sure. Oh, we don't have enough money for both. Damn it. Okay, fine, game. Fine. Let's take a look at diplomacy. Let's see if we can't get a little bit of cash out of somebody. Hey, Anmare. Nice. And trade agreement. You're willing to trade? Oh, wow. Everybody's willing to trade. I'm gonna say we want the Oh, Goldtooth. That's a good one as well. We'll want to ally with him. And he's probably worth a lot of trade agreement. Money. Damn. I wanted to do the Wood Elves, but this is a decent option. Let's start with you then, Goldtooth. Let's see how much money we will get out of this. 1,400 per turn. Pretty good. Was that the only trade agreement we can make? No. We can still do Cult of Sigmar, but considering we'll confederate them shortly, I feel like I'd rather do more Wood Elf factions. Let's do Aranok, I guess. You have been granted Frankly, Wood Elves have an unfortunate sort of habit of canceling their trade agreements and starting to dislike you, but the more sort of agreements we get with all the different Wood Elf factions, the, more we can get with other Wood Elf factions. And thus get defensive alliances going with them, which will come in very handy in terms of getting us more alliances, which means more trade buffs and more, just generally speaking. It's good for Karl. It's good for the Empire. We can still trade with these guys. Huh, okay, wait. I just want to see Anmir. Yeah, no dice on the trade agreement, eh? Yep, you won't even do it for 2.5k, so we'll just do the non-aggression pact, at least for now. Alright, looks good. And then I'd love to keep you Legion of set up, but you're in the middle of the Empire. You just can't do it. We just can't. Guardians of the Valley. Who are you? Oh, right. These guys did really well in Thorgrim's campaign, although I fear that they won't like us so much if we declare war on, like, Remos and Mahra, or Remos, that's a southern realm. Mahrok. I'm gonna hold off on it for now. Yeah, alright, let's trade with Cult of Sigmar. I'm doing some diplomacy, which is, again, appropriate for Karl. Alright, the Urson Revivalists. We do want you on the payroll, as it were. Karakazor, Great Orthodoxy, and... Okay, I'll take another look at this in a second. We've got 2,000 gold now, which means we can get the other Gunderman Surefire. Where are the Gundermans? Oh, here. I selected the wrong army, which is why the confusion. Alright, there we go. Get the other Gundermans in here. Wait, everybody else is at 1 out of 2? Good, so we can just get the rest next turn. Gunderman Surefires, please. Alright, that'll pop into this army. Might not be enough range firepower, but I still... maybe it'll be fine. I'm honestly feeling like we should probably keep the Sigmar's toothpicks now, since they've been around for a long time. But we'll see. Anyway, there was probably somebody else that we needed to move. Not Dolph, because he's fighting next turn. Not Governor Billings. Not Gavin von Wolfen. Boris Broch. Okay, let's see. You still need to deliver your tank, sir, to Waldemar Biber, who has also not moved. Who needs to move... Let's move him around like this. Stay in friendly territory. Maybe take Grungzint and then trade it to the Bretonnians. Jürgen Wagner, yes. You will need to proceed to this mysterious... Nope, that's a Sea Corps. To the Sea Corps, wait. In case it's a fight, which I think it is, we'll want to level. Ooh, maybe we can see the Ogres in action. Now, you're going to want Pistol Corps. That's going to be the main thing that you want. So Pistol Corps it is. And you're also going to want a Mighty Forge because you're going to be you're going to have land ships. This is the Nordland army after all. And then we can go through all the way to Stand Your Ground, which means Sharpshooter for the various units of Free Company. And just double checking if there's anybody who double dips, but it doesn't look like it. Stand Your Ground, and then I guess we'll go for Artillery Master for the eventual inevitable land ships that we have in here. Gotrek, I would like you to get 2 important things for the army itself. Elf Slayer, no, Beast Slayer, campaign movement range for accompanying Lord. Spell resistance when fighting... Well, we will be fighting Norska shortly, but we're not fighting them right now. I guess Zombie Slayer could work because we'll be fighting Vampire Coast in the sea. Maybe we should just get all the different Slayer types and not bother with the checking... Oh, missile block chance for Gotrek, yeah, sure. The green skin one... Oh, enemy battle reinforcement time should be useful as well. You know what, just get them all. Slippery, etc., etc. And then we'll move through training and all the other stuff afterwards. And Treasure Hunter, or Seeker, whatever the buff is, which makes sense for this army, which has a bunch of pirates in it. Potion of Healing, obviously. Replenish Troops, Sprightly Manling, Retinue Physician, Laboratory's terrible, so we're not going to bother with it. Definitely Replenish Troops, and we'll get Sprightly Manling for the Evasion, and the Vanguard deployment as well. Ulrika, you... Blight of the Skaven. Melee defense when defending. Chance to intercept. Oh, we got a decent amount of anti-Skaven stuff. You have Beast Slayer, which gives us spell resistance for the entire army, which ain't bad. Battle Healing Cap. Immunity to Psychology for the entire army. Oh, that's nice. That'll be really helpful for the Free Company. Fire Resistance, probably not as helpful, but nonetheless. And then lastly, Blood Forged, even more casualty or punishment for the entire army. And the enemy leadership reduction and all that. Nice as well. Alright, looks good to me. Now, you're going to move towards the Sea Corps here. As soon as we sort of get vision of the scaling, as soon as we get diplomatic contact with them, that's when we get a defensive alliance with the Urson Revivalists. Approach a carcass. Alright, just a small fight, but this is kind of the debut of this particular army, and of Gotrek and Felix and Ulrika and the Ogres together, so why not? Let's fight the small fight. Alrighty, here we go. No speech from the Grand Master, and that's alright. Debut battle for our Nordland army, such as it is. It's obviously incomplete so far, but it's getting there. The Nordland Mariners in the Nordland colors, of course. Considering they use the Nordland colors, it almost makes me want to replace all the Free Company militia with more Nordlanders, but I will consider it. Anyway, we've also got the debut of the Grand Cauldron regulars as well, and the bad thing for the enemy here is the fact that since we have the Curse of Cannibalism, we have the regeneration on every unit, in particular and especially the Ogres, which means those man-eaters are not going down easy. Anyway, we are going to start the battle off with our Vanguard deployed heroic duo, Gotrek and Felix, charging the enemy. Probably should have actually kept them up on land so that they didn't allow the enemy to make use of the aquatic trait. But funnily enough, our Nordland Mariners also have the aquatic trait, so there's that. And Ulrika is essentially taking the high ground on top of that hill and launching the occasional arrow at the enemy. She doesn't do too much damage in range, so it's not a big deal, but better than nothing. She will also pop off a Spirit Leech. Not a Spirit Leech, a Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma on one of these zombie pirate deckhands mobs. Actually, no, on one of these zombie pirate gunnery mobs with hand cannons in particular. Because we want as many of them out of the picture as possible, the melee troops aren't going to be as concerning, with the exception of the enemy depth guard, which are attempting to chase Ulrika, which probably makes sense considering they have halberds. We'll see how well they deal with a nice ogre charge. There we go. And we do want some ogre allies as well to intersperse more ogre units amongst various armies. I mean, in many ways, taking the Empire is, well, maybe not at the beginning of the campaign, but when things start getting interesting. You gotta remember that the orcs have been building massive orky empires in Karazakarak and in the Border Princes. And when we would meet both Grimgor and Gorbat in combat. And that'll take some effort. But I digress. We'll get there. We still got a bit of work to do on unifying the Empire first before we seek to sort of repair the Shield of Civilization in its entirety. Anyway, the Depth Guard here are in pretty bad shape, and Melkoth's hits them, and they are still in the fight with the Free Company and the Nordland Mariners alike. The bounce power has shifted to about 90% in our favor, as the enemy is having a pretty bad time at dealing with our Ogres. Enemy's going to pop off a Tide Call, but while it will do a little bit of damage to the Free Company, they are kind of not in a tight formation right now, due to being in a fight with all those zombies, and thus not particularly useful for the enemy. Alright, we got one spell off, just missed it unfortunately. The Penumbral Pendulum will break down about, I don't know, maybe half of the HP of a couple of units here. And we could have done that much earlier, obviously, but I didn't want to pop it off on top of Gotrek and Felix and the rest of the zombies while there were no other units there. As I've said before, I don't really like taking advantage of when the AI blobs up around heroes. Unless it's only a single unit, and unless there's another unit to close the distance, like these Grand Cauldron regulars. Which did, and thus allowed us to pop off a spell. Last of the enemy units remaining on field, the Ogres holding position just fine. And getting a little bit of that support. Oh, I've never seen that animation. Oh, that was good. Damn. That was a great animation. The miss with the cleaver, and then or the cutlass, big old cutlass, and then the enemy sort of trying to crawl away. The ogre grabs him and then slams him down on the ground. That was great. Well, I'll make sure to watch these guys a little bit more. I wonder what other animations they have that I may have missed. I would have thought that I would have seen that one in the Man-Eaters campaign, but apparently not, or at least not yet. Oh, I also noticed this is a Norscan-themed map. I see some broken longships in the background, I guess, or some other ships, but of course we have the Norscan totems here as well, which makes sense considering we are pretty close in proximity to Norska. All right, there we go. Fairly nice. Great work to the man-eaters ogres in particular, but that's unsurprising. They're going to be the sort of punchy element of this particular army, together with those land ships riding through the ranks of Free Company militia, whether it be the regulars or the Nordlanders or the Altdorf companies, whatever, it's new Altdorf companies, assuming that we have room for them. I think it'll be a nice little nautical/pirate-themed army. Now, we are far from home, so I think we're going to heal up. I would like the 1.4k, but can't have it all. At least we're still above 1.4k here. And Seed of Rebirth. Well, isn't that nice? Wasn't expecting that. All right, Jürgen Wagner, you can hold on to that. Got a little bit of money for our trouble. We can keep moving northward as well and pick up this oh, that's the Remnants of Battle. Pick up the Remnants of Battle and move on towards the mysterious island back here, which will show the scaling to us, and at that point we'll declare war, or, well, we'll do the defensive alliance, not necessarily declare war. Anyway, good work to everybody. Do we need to summon any more of these guys? I mean, we will. I mean, just do we need to right now, immediately, or can we wait? I think we can. Because the cooldown goes regardless of the fact that, because we're at 1 out of 2. Also, we got 10 turns until we can use Requisition again, so we wait for the 10 turns to be up for, like, half of our units to come in, but ignore the 15-turn ones, then we'll just use it again. Lovely. Looking at plenty more of those guys. Now, just to double check whether I didn't move anybody, you're no longer needed, to be perfectly frank, but you're not costing us anything, so you might as well stay here. Maybe stay even down here. Yeah, oh, right, we still have to fight this fight. Wow, okay. This has been a very long turn, but, you know, there's a lot of important stuff happening in this one turn, so it does make sense. Recruiters, I'd love for you to be recruiting, but that's mostly for the next turn. Leopold, and I know that I'm rechecking some of these guys, but again, it's a long turn and things are happening. Yeah, you're starting on that Demigryph. We could deliver it, but we could just wait, because you're also waiting for an Empire captain and some Pistoliers, so might as well have the full army, such as it is, ready to go before we, well, go. Anyway, Governor Hertzella. Are you still needed here? We still haven't gotten that Dreamwine thing, have we? The event from the unusual location, that particular location. But I guess that's it. Alright, well, everybody else is waiting. Let's pop in to Castle Tempelhof now. Marius Leitdorf. I was going to delete you ages ago, and we still have you, but, I mean, I guess we could get you the Vanguard, at least for now. I know, the Watch. Now the Vanguard. Missile resistance for besieging. We have Emperor's Finest, we have Pistol Corps. Nobody's rank 7 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We could also go through this to... This wouldn't really help us at all here, would it? Well, Vigor Loss Reduction. And unit XP, should we, you know, keep some of those units, especially considering he's going to be deleted or possibly sent to lead a different kind of army, but certainly not this one. The melee defense +5 might serve for the Bretonnian units, although at the same time the Bretonnian units should probably have some knights with them, and thus a Grandmaster with armor or pedigree would probably be the better thing. Yeah. Well, either way, get Emperor's Finest. We could go through Mighty Forge for the war wagons. Or just complete the charge, because we can move towards Leader of Men. Yeah, fine, whatever. Alright, good enough. And then, Theodric, you are what? Alright, you actually do need to be reset, because you have Leader of Men and Leader of Renown, rather than the fighty elements of your tree. Funnily enough, you also have Vanguard, which is actually fine. Huh, maybe we transfer your army to Marius, and then that'll give us the time to reset you? And there might be some troop swapping that we could do here as well. I don't know that we need the additional wagons. I feel like we should put at least one artillery piece in this army as well, though. Though we could just swap these out to mortar wagons. In fact, that's probably the better idea here. Do that, and then we could do the same thing to one of these guys. And then this army can sort of be a little bit more move-capable, rather than a static artillery army. Yeah, I don't dislike it. Anyway, that doesn't change the fact that we have, let's see, Emperor's Finest for the swords, Honest Steel for the great swords, Pistol Corps for the Free Company. Let's get your rally, and keep on moving through that. Alright, time to attack. Oh, you time to attack, because you were the one, you still have most of your movement range, don't you? Alright, so, to Castle Tempelhof. Still a Pyrrhic victory, eh? I guess we're about to find out. Go. Alrighty, here we go. We got ourselves a lot of rats to work our way through, and frankly, a long time to wait until we break down the towers and the walls with mortars, which aren't very good at doing that sort of thing. Just like Karl had that issue in the very early game where he had that mortar, and I was thinking, man, we really need a cannon to knock these walls down faster. But oh well. The benefit of the mortar, however, is in fact that inaccuracy on occasion, because we can see the Poison Wind Globadiers have suffered about 25% of their HP and damage, but have not attempted to move away. And essentially, the AI reacts to artillery fire when you target it directly, but when you don't target it directly, like when you're targeting the tower, it's just going to sit there, and the occasional hit will actually hit those units. And the Death Globes and Poison Winds being pretty critical units to target here, that works out pretty well for us. Also, I guess this is going to be, I don't know, one of the only battles where we have 2 Griffins on the field at once. There's probably going to be a few situations where that happens, like where we get a few of those Amber Wizards, but it's going to be rare for 2 Generals of the Empire on Griffins at the same time. Still, that's a pretty powerful, I don't know, armored fist, a punchy air force that we have here with 2 Griffins and the Wizard there to support them. There we go. Gonna activate that Ice Blast as he lands as well. That was actually pretty cool. Coming down from the sky, kind of like a comet, which seems appropriate for a Wizard of the Heavens. I love it. Alright, well, we gotta work our way through these artillery crews. I'm sure the Griffins can handle them no problem, but we do have limited time until Stormvermin with halberds arrive, and they have armor piercing, of course. But nothing else to watch right now, because we are going to be very slowly working our way through that wall. Fortunately, since the reinforcements have arrived, we do have a second mortar on the field now, a War Wagon mortar. And our non-Thunderbolt does manage to bring down 1 artillery piece. That's 1 out of 16 out, but the crews are having a much worse time of it than the artillery pieces themselves. One is terrified of the Griffins, and the other is, well, coming back, actually. So we're just going to charge it again. And frankly, using the sort of artillery pieces themselves to block some of the rats off might actually serve a good purpose here. Though it is admittedly kind of hard to spot our own Griffins in the midst of all this. But yeah, the safer they are from being surrounded by a billion clan rats with spears and Stormvermin with halberds, the better. How are we looking in terms of damage so far? Not so bad, about 10 to 15% damage depending on the individual Griffin or Lord, but they are getting surrounded a little bit, so we're going to buff or debuff rather the enemy around them with that Curse of the Midnight Wind. The melee defense isn't really relevant because we have higher melee attack and splash damage on all the Griffins than needed for clan rats and such anyway. But reducing the enemy melee attack is good in terms of hopefully them landing a few less hits on the big boys. Not that the Curse of the Midnight Wind will last too long and is nearly out, but fortunately the artillery crews are nearly out of the picture as well. Anyway, I think it's time to speed the matter up a little bit. We've got a little bit more work to do over the wall and through the wall. It looks like we do get hit with a Warp Lightning on one of our swordsmen, but that's alright. Here we go, gonna try to snipe a chieftain up there, and it's time to return our Griffins as we prepare to head into the enemy settlement. The mortars and one of the units of great swords are working away at the gate there, and while it takes a little bit of time, we're nearly there. The Ogre Bulls probably could have sent in to speed matters along, especially for the gate, but this way, we should break through the wall and the gate at roughly the same time, which is why I waited to get the great swords in there. There we go. And with 2 breaches at the same time, we're able to start sending 2 units at a time in at once. It's still admittedly going to take a long time to get all of our army inside the enemy settlement, but that's alright. Just gotta set up around the breach and we'll be good. Anyway, the great swords have arrived, taking their first swings at the enemy Poison Winds. But really, they're looking to help the Lords trap and kill the 2 enemy chieftains and 1 enemy warlord that are in the stack. There's 1, and there's another, and there's the 3rd. There we go. That's a little bit of a miss on that, Griffin. Try a little harder. There we go. Hey, don't smash into each other. Watch the 2 Griffins get angry and start fighting each other. Probably not as likely with griffins as it would be with hippogriffs, because hippogriffs are very angry by comparison. Much more angry and territorial than the griffins are, which have a much more noble bearing. At least that's the way I've always heard it described. Similar creatures, though they may be. Alright, but it looks like they have defeated the warlord and the two chieftains rather quickly. There we go. One of them is just running away while their warlord is kind of trapped. Kind of hard to get away from a griffin, admittedly. And at the same time, this is preventing the enemy from blocking any of our units off, which means more units are heading into the enemy settlement. Like so, just going to speed it up a little bit. We've got plenty more fighting here. Here comes a charge of storm vermin into our pile of units, and the ogres, the ogre bulls, will move to meet them. And don't worry, we will definitely put some ogre bulls in an army or two, and frankly, several ogre units in several armies. And just got to get that allegiance flowing. Frankly, wait, is it the Imperial Palace? There's at least something that we need to build that will increase our allegiance. Wait, no, it was... I think it was one of the Bretonnian territories. That'll increase our allegiance gain, that'll help. We also don't really have any ogre allies at this point, but we can still make use of the allegiance gain from the High Elves and the Wood Elves and the Dwarfs and the Bretonnians, at the very least. Once again, one of the really nice things about the Cathans, one of the really nice things about the Empire is how so many different factions will fit nicely with their units, and on top of that, being lorefully accurate. I guess it pays to be sort of the heart of the Warhammer Fantasy setting. But anyway, the bounce power is at about, let's say, 70% in our favor, and we are starting to blob up around the gate, sort of doing to the enemy what they sought to do to us around the gate there as well, and making use of this choke point. We're also starting to get our gunners up on top of the walls. The Ironsides and the regular handgunners, admittedly, probably won't give us too much value up on top of the walls. But the Auckland long rifles, they've got a 330 range. They're only slightly less far-firing than a mortar is. Kind of like Gisele's, I guess, and are effectively going to be able to fire over the bridge to the other side, unlike the Null Iron side and stuff like that. They don't do as much damage as those guys do, but the range is a quality of its own, I guess. She just out of curiosity, what did the non-Ironsides do? Was it 90 damage? Yeah, 89. So they do about nearly twice as much damage, plus suppress, whereas these guys have significantly more range, etc., etc. And we could probably buff it further via various things. Anyway, this is what I wanted. We've got a good sort of, well, not blockade, but we got a good use out of this choke point here. And the swordsmen and the great swords and the ogre bulls working together, while the Ironsides and the Auckland long rifles fire down from the walls. And of course, the huntsmen and the crossbows fire over the heads of everybody as well. Though I guess that is going to be kind of dangerous to some of the ogre bulls, as I just saw at least one topple in the center of this. There goes another, and might have to back them off soon. I mean, they're basic ogre bulls, they're pretty darn fragile. Getting hit with arrows to the back of the head, and at the same time poked by the halberds and the spears of the clan rats and storm vermin probably ain't so great. Time for them to back off. Alright, well, their HP isn't horrible, but they're still down to a third of their HP, so, you know. I'd rather keep the unit, at least for now. Now, what if there's another, ogre camp that we can make use of somewhere nearby? In Old World, Scrag the Slaughterer is in the Maelstrom, so he's not in the Southern Realms, meaning we can't, or in the Border Princes, so we can't get any use out of that there. But anyway, we are looking to ally with Goldtooth, so hopefully he'll tide us over with his ogre units. Anyway, there we go. It looks like the units around the bridge have been defeated, and it's time to speed it up and start moving through, I guess. Well, we can also see the Aucklanders firing away at the max distance, or maybe not max distance, but close to it, at the units running away, and the units seeking to still attempt to cross the bridge. There we go. Very, very nice. And funnily enough, the this particular Arat faction, or this particular Larat host, does not have the Giselles to fire back at us. Lovely. Alrighty, well, this area is now more or less clear, so we're getting ready to push on forward. There's a few more blasts from those long rifles as another unit of Storm Vermin will be sent packing. And it's time to set up position over on this. Kind of a sort of systematic siege in this particular map. We've seen it before, and I'd wager we'll see it again. And here comes the latest charge. Clan Rat Spears versus 2 units of Swordsmen this time. It is nice that this army still has Swordsmen in it. And yes, as I said, I am intent on keeping them here because, well, we gotta use the regular Swordsmen as well. Can't just be using elite units. Or at the very least, can't just be using spearmen, pikemen, and halberdiers as our regular state troop units. Gotta use some swords somewhere, and I guess this is the place. Alright, little clan rats attempting to charge the other swordsman unit, but these guys actually have great swords with them as well, and it's going to go much less well for the clan rats. Although admittedly packed in a tight formation like this, I would imagine the great swords have a bit more of a tough time swinging those blades around. But all good. Alright, and the balance power is at about 85, maybe closing in on 90% in our favor. A couple more units are about out of the picture, but ooh, a unit of Plague Monks has arrived to probably start cutting at least through a few of those swordsmen. That's probably a pretty bad matchup, and I do think even with these stats buffed up fairly significantly in this army, these swords still have only 45 armor. We're definitely going to need a couple of Empire captains in this army in order to get them at least to a decent armor level, or going into the mid-game they're going to be very much a liability in this army, being basic troops. And the Plague Monks are tier 2, apparently, to these guys tier 1, but they've still got that insane amount of melee damage, or melee attack. Well, actually, melee damage probably too. They've got, let's see, Swordsmen have 24 weapon strength, Plague Monks have 44, so yeah. They basically can tear through them if we let them, and the swordsmen are down to about half their HP, and the Plague Monks are still at about 60% of theirs. But at the same time, we had more troops heading up the bridge and then through the gate as well, and that's more troops in the enemy settlement. The arrows are falling once again as the huntsmen, and I guess the crossbows as well, have arrived to once again lend support. And though we may run out of ammunition on our huntsmen and on our missile troops and on our artillery, we do still have 5 war wagons to offer the the ammunition resupply, whatever it is. Which is lovely. Alright, and the battle is very nearly ours, hovering at around 90-95% balance of power now. A few more units to knock out of the picture. The Griffins have returned to the fray, though they are heavily damaged at this point, down to about 50% of their HP. Don't really want them to get too much more damaged. But we gotta remember, we can heal 50% because we are max... We are max casualty replenishment rate because of the Staff of Volans quest. Meaning we can freely take 50% damage on any unit and expect it to heal full HP next turn for the next 2 turns while we have that quest reward going. I mean, obviously that would normally be true for every army that has a warrior priest and is maxed out in terms of its casualty replenishment, but right now we only have 2 armies with warrior priests, so we're gonna need a few more. And not to worry, similar to the other stuff that we're missing in terms of capacities, right now we can only build 1 land ship across the entire faction, for example, but you need higher tier gun forges, armories, gunsmiths, foundries, whatever the building is called, to get those. And then similarly, we are looking to get a bunch of the Sigmarite temples to get Sigmarite disciples, as well as the piles of warrior priests that we're going to need in various armies. The themed armies are starting to come online. Admittedly, we've been working with, basically 3 armies, well, plus us 4 armies so far, really. The Drakewalder army, Dolph's run-and-gun army, and Elspeth's and Karl's. There's a few of the other little armies running around, like this army and Marius's army and stuff, but they're not, sort of real armies. They're not really fighting all that much. and just the occasional fight while they're doing the auto-resolves and the minor settlements and stuff, which is what we've been using them for. Anyway, all that aside, it looks like the rats are done for. We might be looking to build some elite high-tier buildings, but these guys won't be, because I do believe this is the end for Clan Creepus. Alrighty, there we go. Took a little bit of effort to slowly make our way through the ranks of rats, but eventually we were able to go through them without a significant amount of damage. This should, I hope, finally knock this faction out for good. We are not returning it to the Elector. Clan Creep is destroyed. Beautiful. Alright, and Templehof is ours. Does not complete the province due to Van Heldenschloss still being here. Are you guys really going to need us to take Needling for you? You've been... Stirland, please, what are you doing? Why are you so useless? Yeah, I don't know what's up with them. At least Solent is pretty rich. They're strength rank 11. I'm not entirely sure how, but I guess they have some good troops in there. And oh wow, they have 3 and a third armies? Not bad, and really AI? Archers? That's what you're going to use your allegiance on. Archer. Okay. It's like you're trying to annoy me. Anyway, Van Heldenschloss is the last territory. No, it's not. I just talked about Needling. But nonetheless, we could probably wipe it out. Theodric, you can head on over there and destroy it. We will declare war on these guys. They're fighting with the Deceivers, interesting. I wonder where the Deceivers are. We still have to try to kill them off, ideally. Frankly, when we confederate everybody, we should just be able to knock out all of their... Huh. Nope, okay, I was wondering, wait a second, is this, are they here? All of their... Undercities, cults, that's the one. Anyway, we will ask Stirland to join this.
The Empire. Welcome, my countrymen.
Templehof, yes. Alright, and barely any cash, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, now that that's joined, I would like you... Hey, can we borrow your army? Huh, we can borrow your army. Give us your army, wait. You're gonna suffer attrition here? Do we care? You know what, either they take it themselves next turn or borrow that army and we'll do it for them with their army. If that's the way they're gonna play it. Anyway, you can proceed to Van Heldenschloss. You, Gavin, will be needed at Castle Drakenhof, so we'll deal with this. With just... a moment. There's the changeling. He's going to reinforce. Well, that'll allow us to auto-resolve this, but wow. That was sudden. I was not expecting that. Well, all good, I guess. If it'll allow us to get to free auto-resolve, it's a free auto-resolve. Just gotta have to wait for him to show up so that we can actually kill him off. Frankly, wait. I wonder if he's at war with these guys. No. Damn, I was hoping that if they were at war with the changeling, then we could, you know, allow the changeling to kill them and then take this territory for ourselves. We're going to have to either declare war on them using the... I forgot what it was called. Castle's Belly, yes. But we'll need to de-ally with them first, because I'm willing to bet that Castle's Belly will not bypass the military access. So it would thus tank our reliability, which we don't want. Oh, they still want to trade, eh? Interesting. What if we could get a trade going with somebody else? Gonna keep an eye on those wood elves. Anyway, folks, with that, I think we're out of time, and I'm gonna have to call the episode here. Lots and lots of stuff done in this particular turn. I was hoping to wipe out Sylvania for good this episode, but I guess we'll have to wait for one more last fight from them in the next episode instead, once they reach tier 5. Otherwise, once that's done, we'll send Elspeth to deal with Grimgor and, you know, beat the orcs back through Blackfire Pass, and then maybe send Gavin to deal with the Skaven up here, since I don't think we can trust Ungrim to deal with it himself. He is under the AI after all. Oh, also we'll want some Slayer pirates for... You know what, let's do this right now. We'll want some Slayer pirates for the Nordlander army, because they'll work nicely with the Nordland Mariners and the Sigmar Skirmishers and the other Free Company militias. And the Man-Eaters, once again, nautical-themed pirate army. Hopefully we actually have enough room for those and the land ships. But I guess we'll see. We'll figure it out. And of course, keep building all of our armies with our Elector state troops. Gotta get a few. Wow, there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're missing 8 provinces. Oh, right, it's the Bretonnian ones and then the and then Akendorf, or the border princes. I was like, wait a second, we can't possibly be still missing 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 is Sylvania. Oh, well, we'll have Sylvania next episode. Oh, and we'll start recruiting Boris's army as well as soon as we are able to do so. So that'll be our Order of the White Wolf army, which will be pretty fun. Anyway, more Empire to come. Stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.